Alrighty, y'all. Moving right along, we have another Carter. There's actually three Carters, but not the point. This individual is John R. Carter. He is the congressman from Texas's 31st District, Republican. He's been there since 2003. He is a very interesting individual, if not hypocritical. His net worth as of 2018 stands approximately 3.4 million. However, I don't know if that's been updated recently. I'm having a lot of trouble finding these more wealthier Congress people's updated information, and I that's by design. Um, he has been a part of quite a few sponsored bills. And going back to 2003, I look and I see all the sponsored bills that he's been a part of, and he's only done 136 of them, which either means one, he's very careful about what he chooses, which is a good thing, I think, or two, he doesn't really care. Because going to his previous occupation, he was a judge. He was a lawyer and he was a judge. And one of the things that he talked about was upholding the Constitution. Now, I'm going to read a part of his comment regarding Donald Trump's impeachment. This is what he had to say. It is a fundamental ideal of our republic that every American receives justice under the law. As members of Congress, we are required to uphold that ideal, and as a former judge, I was tasked with the same responsibility. I find that this entire impeachment process has lacked impartiality, respect for the Constitution, and for justice. When I was on the bench, I instructed every jury the same way. I told them when someone heard from another source other than what they directly observed is not evidence. The evidence presented by the White House majority in this case is hearsay. Now, those were his words on Trump's impeachment, correct? As a judge, as an impartial judge, as he's claiming to be, if you look at the evidence presented against Trump, how can you not say that he committed a crime? If there was no jury involved, right, as a judge yourself, Mr. Carter, I guess I'm speaking directly to you. If you were a judge yourself, based off the evidence presented to the courts, and if you were presiding over this case, you're trying to tell me that there was no room for impeachment there? I'm sorry. What did Bill Clinton get impeached for? Like, what are we doing here? Because when you talk about fairness for all, as a former judge, can you tell me that there were people who looked like me, brown skin, that sat before you and you didn't have any sort of bias? You gave them fair and equal treatment? Because if we do an audit of all the cases you have been on, Mr. Former Judge, would we find that the data is skewed against people of color and against men of color specifically? I'm not saying that's true. All I'm saying is that your words say one thing and your actions say another, because you endorsed Trump. Right now, you talked about, and he does talk about, fighting for veterans, fighting for schools, this, that, and the other. Yet every single opportunity when it was time for him to vote against the nonsense and to stand up against the nonsense that is coming from this current administration, he's been silent. Because if you were to look up right now this individual statements against, and you have to type against to see if anything shows up. Because if nothing shows up, then he hasn't said anything. Or for. And that's the thing about searching. If you go to Google and you type up this statement, Beyonce against Trump, you may find different articles if you type Beyonce for Trump or Beyonce for Vice President Harris. The way that people search stuff up, they search it up specifically to get the result they're looking for. If you're going to do a search, you have to ask Google several questions to get you to the answers that you need. Not the answers you want, the answers you need. And you're going to find out with a lot of these individuals, if you are in fact at home watching my videos and doing your own homework, that a lot of the things that they're saying versus the things that they're doing are contradictory. This man is contradictory. He wants to put on the airs that he is for the people, Yet he's being radio silent when things like veteran affairs currently right now, the VA is currently suffering in the state of Texas. You have Texas going through a pseudo like medical emergency because of the measles outbreak. Where's all of his frustration? I get it. He's representing Central Texas. It's 31st District. It's more central. It's not in the areas currently where he has to worry. But the fact that he's saying nothing for his co-workers in their districts and what they are or aren't doing, that is just as damning in my opinion. There's pictures and photo ops of him with Governor Greg Abbott, and it blows my mind that this individual, who is a former judge, who claims that it's better to listen and observe more than it is to speak, is not doing anything. He's been there since 2003. I think that he needs time off to spend with his kids and his grandchildren. He says that whenever he's not working, he spends time with his grandchildren. You know what? Let's let him retire. Let's vote him out so that's all he can do is spend time with his grandchildren. Because let's be honest, if his grandchildren aren't vaccinated because he and his family don't believe in vaccinations, the time that he may have with them, we don't know. And I'm not wishing this on anyone, is uncertain. So if that's what he wants to do, spend time with his grandchildren when he's not working, then let's retire him, vote him out. As far as grades go, I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like back and forth. But he's not as bad as some. Although, like with most, especially the richer ones, I cannot find information. So if there's something that I don't know about this guy that y'all know, let me know. Say it under the comments. Just tell me what's going on. And so that way I may be able to come out with another video to regrade some of these people. All right? So I'm just going to give him a C minus.